how embarrassed by incompetence. I guess I can't blame you. Right, so...
Well, then again, Rose is all about the tough love.
Oh, she's so tough.
So what do you play here in the first turn? I mean, Braun is a very important card in the matchup, but it seems like such bad value to play it as a 4/4.
Definitely. I guess you just play a Walker in anticipation of Braun.
Warclaw is a bit. I mean,
it's quite
there is a
vulnerable
great
to mana
counterplay
summit.
from Link here, which is just Hermit and then Link, or not Link, Hermit and then Sage blocking the Warclaw.
And level Taliesin.
Yeah, level Taliesin and the Aetherphage. So this is gonna make, well, the Braun plays are still gonna be, there's still gonna be value, but you won't get the Raptor and the other play.
He does get the Dustmole combo to kill the Mana Summon Retribution though. But not much else. Is Link experiencing some lag? No, he just hasn't pressed enter yet. Yep, he just forgot to press enter, that's all. Taliesin's name is actually pretty long. It's almost jutting out the thing. Ah, shame. Well, got to do it. Right?
Well, who designed these decks? They are the crazy masterminds of the Battlebranded. Yes, we are the crazy.
Taliesin, Agamemnon, Predator, and Soulmated all can be blamed on Pion.
Well, Predator, Agamemnon, and Soulmaiden. Taliesin is actually Link's.
It's a bit of a shared bout of insanity, isn't it?
Nah, I'd credit that all to Link. He was the one who spoke warmly about Taliesin being a great card, and I just confirmed why it was good.
I mean, it's like Iron Maiden, because it's a scary win condition and giving extra plays bonkers. But it's more useful than Iron Maiden at the first two levels, because Iron Maiden's a 1/1/3/3, which is nothing. It's a non-body on board if you play to the board instead of sneak leveling it. And Taliesin's also pretty bad if you have to just play it, and your opponent gets 3 players, kills Taliesin, and then you're down to play. But if you can block for 6 damage and Taliesin dies, and it's fine, right? It's a 6/6. It's a 6/8. And if you can go Taliesin and Aetherphage, then you can deny your opponent a possible spell.
Rather Aetherphage first and then Taliesin.
I see.
So you can
like,
have
test the
Aetherphage set if the coast is clear. So no bronze here, which has been lucky for Link.
Yep.
However, he is under some amount of pressure here.
From especially if he plays the Mana Summit. Plays 2 Edicts.
Oh, yeah, 2 Edicts. So Thunder Swords aren't the most impressive against decks with Edict.
Though this Thunder Sword is preventing him from playing this otherwise easy Mana Summit.
Yep.
Because otherwise,
Link would Malus Hermit there. Malus Hermit in
4, maybe?
1 or 4. Actually, 1 prevents more damage, I think. Yeah. And then you play your own Behemoth in 5. Problem is then you really want to play the Sage, because leveling Lucid Echoes or playing a Lucid Echoes is so important for this set. And he hasn't been able to do that yet.
Probably playing the Lucid, actually.
I mean, I think this is the first Lucid Echoes Link has seen, which means that he's likely to see one the next turn. So I think he'd be willing to pass that in order to gain a board advantage here.
Oh, that's true. It's only 1.3. Right.
So the counterplay from Gloommate is going to be, well, it doesn't really have too much. Shardblade Behemoths are fine, but they do get chumped by Esperion Sages and Iron Mind Acolytes in this matchup. So it's not the best threat. So
no, especially because
having leveled no bronze is going to be it's going to be hard for Gloommate. I think at this point that Link has turned a slightly unfavorable position into a slightly favorable position just on the means of
Wow. Not what I expected at all. Wow. That's interesting.
yeah.
It's
I'm
really weak
actually,
to
well,
Scythe
this
though.
and Echoes.
It's
Yeah,
really weak to
I do
Scythe
like
though.
this line. Why would this be weak to Scythe?
Because of that.
You mean big dusk mode or Thundersaur gets a lot of attack +6, but it doesn't. The cards that Link have in play aren't worth anything, so it's
No,
just a
they're not
+6
worth
attack
anything,
here.
but dealing with the 10-8 dinosaur could be quite problematic. Especially since there's already two
Yeah.
behemoths on board.
Yeah. Luckily for Link, he has Gnome into Edict into Lucid Echoes if he wants to,
Or lose it
which
into
means that
Edict
he
rather.
hits.
Nothing to level the Killian. This should be leveling quite well for the player level. Despite being under a lot of pressure. Second gnome. So the question is, do you replace the first gnome? Because if you're probably gonna Edict this board.
Look at the deck in of from Link. He's got so many leveled cards there. Leveled an incredible amount of cards
Ridiculous amount of cards actually.
from
To
Sage. Yeah.
Dendrify. So Lucy Echo.
So here's the question: what you want to do? Because I think if you want to play Edict here, you need to
Oh,
overwrite your card in one. But I think since he drew double gnome, he swayed from his original line.
interesting. And he decided to go.
There's the Leyline Demon. Okay, so after that, I think there's the Edict anyway. Oh, post-combat Edict makes a lot of sense. That's a good play from Link.
Guarantees the jump.
Yep. So still at 72 and not under substantial pressure right now. So Gloommate is going to need to do
59
something
actually.
dangerous here in... he just took 13, and I like this line from Gloommate because pushing for damage is one of the most important things you can do.
Against UA.
And also, Duskmaw is, yes, against UA. You won't get the chance a lot of the time to do that. So I do like that play from Gloommate's side.
Let's see.
I'm probably going to be an Aether Phage and a Hermit here.
Sees two tendrils and this puts the Melissamin out of touch or range of the Dustmore.
Yep.
Unfortunately for Link, he does have that Dustmore anyway.
Yeah. But this Malice Hermit is doing work still if it dies, because the poison on the Duskmaw is going to be important. That means he's going to be able to block it with a Nova token next turn.
Actually blocking the Behemoth and the no and they are preventing 10 damage from Dustmore here is really good. And although the question then becomes, does he go for the Lucid or
I think he goes for the Lucid. Yes, he will definitely go for the Lucid is what I think. Getting a Lucid Echoes going is basically what this deck is doing. If you're not doing that,
you're in trouble?
you may not win as easily. Yeah.
Oh man,
Well, here we have an opportunity to level
this
the
could end really
Taliesin
badly
and
for
Dendrify.
Gloomy if he blocks. Oh, he does block that way. And now the Mana Summit just kills a lot of things.
Yeah, that is true.
There's a lot of Mana Summit value. So I assume he goes Sage in 2 and 5 and Poison everything in
Yep,
3.
2 and 5, and then Hermit.
Leveling
Yeah,
Taliesin
and then
and
the Hermit is
Dendrify.
going to be much bigger. Yeah, Taliesin and Dendrify is going to get leveled.
That's a disaster for Gloomy.
Well, it's a bad turn certainly, but Gloomate has some really well. Link is down to 43.
Maybe we
However,
can
Gloomate, once again, having no bronze leveled means that he's got
very little
he's somewhat lacking
reach.
in the
Yeah.
reach department. Yes, so I think I wouldn't. Well, let's see here. Is Gloomate forced here to deal with the Hermit by Lycian Shard and Lycian
Siphon?
Siphon? Because
I don't imagine
that
so.
seems like such bad value.
Yeah, he's a
I
9-4,
would
he can take a hit, I think. He can take one hit from
yeah.
them. Unless
Then again,
the
the
rest
hermit
of
would
his
be
hand
still pretty big.
is
It
yeah,
would
the rest of his
be
hand is also quite
somewhere
terrible.
in this
He just plays one Dino Knight this
11
turn,
health.
and that's about it, right? It's pretty rubbish, regardless of what line he takes.
I do like yeah, he's in trouble regardless of the line. I think you can have one defensive line, but against an active Echoes from Link, and well, he's going to seize an advantage
If
here.
Link can sit back and set up Echoes, especially Echoes Tree, right? Because Echoes Tree is quite an unassuming card. You just get 2 extra cards done. But because of cards like Surge and Gnomes, right, they kind of snowball the draw effect. So the more you draw, the more you draw the cards that benefit from drawing cards. So Gnomes and Free Dendrifies in particular. So it creates this loop where just keep drawing through your deck, Dendrify whatever nasty threat your opponent has, and just gnome over and over. And then the only thing that can kill you, you get to the point where the only way your opponent can kill you is through burn from a Herald or a Crypt Conjure, which
Yep.
Gloommate doesn't have apart from Braun, which he only has 1 level so far.
Some people play Glowstride Stag for that kind of thing to be able to survive the reach. But Link
Speaking of
is
Stag,
not a believer in the Stag.
no, he does have 1 Stag. It's right in the end actually.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Sorry.
Imagine it's a pretty easy Sage here. Leveling a Surge and a Lucid, probably? Maybe a Dendrify instead. Do you think Link will play the Stag here? Just to gain life? Or level the Stag?
Now he'd play the Lucid Echoes before playing the Stag here. I think
So he levels the Stag?
he could level the Stag and play the Lucid Echoes.
Hmm, range. I thought he leveled Dendrify. Um,
And here's a Stag and a well, an Acolyte first, and to see what happens. But here, this is a really bad 3.1 from Gloommate, which could provide or prove fatal. The pressure needs to be put as soon as possible. Not having the level 3s here is going to be a big blow to the tempo that he can gain.
and
However, this 3.2 hand
yeah,
does have a level 2 Brawn combo, level 2 Warclaw.
Braun
Not the
looks
strongest, but
promising.
it will provide some reach.
I think Link is pretty comfortable with his life total. Especially after playing the Stag to go for.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And Lucid Echoes here is just going to
Oh,
strengthen
that
his advantage.
Dendrify.
Drawing 8 cards here.
That
Dendrify is
Dendrify.
gonna be the game breaker in this one.
This very turn actually. Kinda crazy.
Yeah, Braun is doing some work here with the Thunder Soar,
It is, but I
making it
imagine
trade.
Malasam is just going to come in and clean everything up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's going to be a Dendrify on the Dino Knight for sure. That
100%
is
time.
a yes, and the Mouse Hermit to clean the Thunder Soar up, and
Probably
well,
wants to
it
see what he
doesn't
draws
quite clean
first.
the Warclaw. Yeah,
Especially because he knows his opponent has a Leyline Demon, so if he triggers the Leyline Demon and then play Malice Hermit, then he can negate the advantage the Malice Hermit will give Gloomate. So
yeah.
I don't agree with that
And he's
order.
playing it safe here, blocking the. If he'd blocked there, he'd be playing it safe toward his life total. But this Malice Hermit is a game winner potentially.
Malice Hermit stand to be that. No,
So I think he's just going to play another Lucid Echoes here.
we'll
Drawing the right cards
see.
is, I think, more important than any of the cards that he has past that. Yeah. So yet another Echoes is going to be ticking here.
See a Taliesin here.
And this, I see a Talisman 3. That is very, very interesting and exciting.
Exciting, definitely. I thought this hand from Gume is pretty bad as well because He can't get the trigger on Siphon because,
Am I sometimes?
without
Do
having
I have a
to. Hmm?
ban user?
Oh, that's
Woo,
pushing 15
I did
here.
it.
I guess you have to play the Warclaw to at least jump the 24/24 with the 1/1. Oh, he's gonna replace, right?
Yeah,
That's a wise move to prevent the Mana Summit from going
wise
too
move.
big. I imagine he blocks with the 1/1 and prays to the Soulforge gods that he gets a Dustma combo next time.
Yep, that is what
Although
he needs.
he
But
does did
also
play two
he
Tendrils.
knows that there is no way for Link to push damage with this Hermit.
It did.
So if you block it with a 1/1, oh yeah, that's true. That's the edict.
He cancelled Drago? Oh no, oh he what? That's interesting. So instant not opting to go for the jump block. Instead wants to put the 1/1
Okay, so
for
here's one overwrites. Question is here: Echoes or Taliesin? What do you do? I think it's got to be the Taliesin in front of the Raptor to
yeah,
prevent Brawn
Braun.
shenanigans. You're basically dead to Brawn. Well, there is no Brawn 3, but still, you got to be careful about that.
You
Also,
might as well,
Taliesin providing
yeah,
you an extra play
next turn.
turn is going to be huge. Here we're going to see, yeah, an Echoes to identify a stag in a Nether phage. How this is close to a lock here from Link.
It is. I
Love to
imagine.
see this Taliesin in play.
I imagine there's no way. There's nothing Gloom's deck that he could possibly have drawn to stop this.
No,
And
but
that's when
considering Link is at 18, even though Gloommate played no bronze in player level 1,
he might be
that's a
able to cheese out
pretty
the win. It's pretty low
big
amount
thing.
life, right? If he gets a
Oh, he's just
cheeky,
dead on board here.
yeah.
Gloommate, isn't he?
Let's
Close
see,
enough.
28.
Taliesin, that
He needs 7 more.
it's close. Close.
It's almost there, but
Yeah,
it's not quite
that
there.
Leyline Golem does things. No.
He lives on one more turn. So
Okay.
I imagine you dendrify the 23/1 Dunzo
Yep. Most definitely.
and then
And
you
then you
stag
battle, and then you
phage.
overwrite the stag with the seedling phage, and either, hey, battle first. Come on now. Or first dendrify, then battle. Yeah. Link's playing methodically here.
There's no
Not
rush
losing
of
out on
all.
the value. So
But
with
he has
Gloommate
3
at
plays,
6,
so he can
no
still play the
possibility
stag
for a
and the
Dusty
lucid.
combo.
That's interesting. That's a
Yeah,
misplay,
just
I
replace
imagine.
there.
I imagine it's a misplay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because he'd rather have the 16-15, but at this point it doesn't matter at all.
Nope. And Glooming concedes. Right.
He does. So that is, I'd say, a slightly unlikely win from Link. A solid
I'm
play from his part. A lot of it came down to leveling a lot of cards while not getting banished or punished by Brawn. And since he didn't get punished by Brawn, he had the time to level a bunch of cards to be able to have these great
especially because he got to this cast lucids, right? So
yeah.
what is he? This Gloomy playing next?
Seeing as what his other decks were Herald Bomb and
AT explosives.
AT.
I imagine you
Well,
want to lock Harrow into. I'm gonna assume it's
I
Harrow.
think so too.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna assume.
I'd assume it's that too. I think a lot of people think that Herald Bomb is heavily favored in this matchup.
I actually think it's. Oh
However,
no, it's AT. Hold on.
went AT. Yeah, AT is good against. I actually think that AT is a better matchup against the AU control than the Herald Bomb, but
I actually
it's quite
agree.
close.
I actually think that what should we call it? The Herald one isn't actually favored against AU. It's like 55-45 against Herald. So AU has a slightly better matchup against Herald
Then
one.
again, it also, of course, depends on the build.
Yeah, it depends on
It's
it's like
very important to have 3 Aether pages if you're planning to beat
Herald bomb.
Herald Bomb. If you're playing AU control, Aether page is your most important card there. And I feel like it's interesting there because Link doesn't know what Gloommate is playing that first turn, since it's he knew that because it's a Relic Hunter deck. I'm sorry about that.
Right.
Still, Aether page block is a good play.
Still, I see as an interesting choice. Although I guess it's better than playing a 4-5 Relic Hunter, which does nothing.
Yeah.
This killing gets to level. Okay, I can agree with that line. Then there was nothing good to level in the hand. And Manasam it doesn't do much. Although it does slowly kill the TIC, yeah.
Yeah, Miles Hermit is good against Seer, so I was a bit surprised not to see that and maybe an Aspirian Sage.
Although Sage didn't level anything important. So Killian, I guess he wanted level the search, and he decided the Mana
Yeah,
Summit was worse than the Killian in that regard.
I do like Gloomate aggressively playing Korok here because it's very much a key in this matchup.
Oh,
Being able to
Korok
interact
is
before
the
your opponent can react. It's the
Korok
game
is
breaker.
the
Luckily for Link, he does have the behemoth here.
Korok is usually like the last bit because the AT deck is usually very good at pushing damage against the AU deck because even though Edict is particularly useful against the AT deck, they usually can punch you a few more times and then you go on down to about 40 health, and then usually they get one more two swings in. But Korok is usually the bit that pushes the very last bit of damage through, the last 20 or so damage,
Yeah. The
especially
other
Relic
very
Storm.
important part of the AT deck is having relic hunters, or rather relic scouts, because providing armor is great against Mouse Hermit. Providing breakthrough is great against gnomes and sages. So there are a lot of natural counters there. Double behemoth here is huge for Link. He's bound to play a double behemoth here too. Uh,
Oh
well,
no,
that's what I thought.
oh no.
He's
What's
really
he
looking
leveling though?
forward to looking for those Killians.
Manasama?
I'd say maybe a Malice Hermit or maybe a
Stag?
Stag.
I can't quite see one. Oh, excuse me.
No, I didn't see either.
I was quite surprised he didn't go
I'd
for
assume it was
the behemoth though. Bring back the board.
yeah. Behemoth is a big player in this matchup, but still,
Although
this way he has got the full board covered and is slightly safe against explosives. Uh,
a
yeah,
smart play by
especially your
Link
Gloomit
was
is able to
to
level things with
smart play
what?
by Link was to combat and then play Killian. So now the aeronaut has none of his own creatures can break through with explosives.
Yeah, that is definitely playing around explosives is a really good thing. Uh,
It's a
I
namesake of
like
the deck for a reason.
Gloom's play here of leveling a card with the Seer, overwriting the Seer because it's dead anyway, and
That's a
pushing through
massive
with
tyrant.
yeah, it kills everything on one side of the board, and then
Although
you don't have to play it explosives,
no.
so you just play a Relic Hunter in the center to push for a lot of damage here. Yep. So Link is in
Link has a very happy
a
edict
slight
here.
amount of trouble.
It's
He does have a great edict
a
this
very
turn.
powerful edict.
No echoes and edict. He's gonna be super happy to play that. Stemming the bleeding here is hugely important. However, the AT deck can reload. Question here is, because Seer here is kind of an unreliable play, wouldn't be
It's
totally opposed to see something like a
Korok.
well,
No,
I
I guess
wouldn't
not.
say well a Korok, but then again against Acolyte 2s, that's not going to do much either.
Yes, he went for the aeronaut instead. I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. Going for the aeronaut in the center to push damage. I'm not sure that was quite worth it though
I do like that.
if
If you're
you
playing the Seer, you're playing the long game.
which
with
is not what you're gonna win, definitely.
yeah. Well, then again, he does have Agamemnon 3 and Relic Scouts in his deck,
And the
which we
Frostman
all
Dragon.
know can push a lot of damage.
Division Center is probably the best spot because if you can see explosives, you take explosive. If you see rage, then you. I mean, if you blocked in front of the
Yeah,
tyrant, then if you see explosives and rage,
and
you're
then
boned.
sees Rage. Yeah,
Then he sees
now he
nothing.
knows
He
there's
sees
no
neither of that.
Rage,
He didn't
and
block
he can
safely.
definitely safely block the Tyrant. So good play from Link there. Solid play.
Very tight play. Right. So his opponent has two very good creatures this turn. This Red Skull into Frostmane into
Definitely.
Agamemnon. Agamemnon.
What I think here is that you should ignore the Aetherphage because the control deck it doesn't win by beating down for 10 with Aetherphage, and these, especially the Frost main dragons, can be huge to not block. So I would like something like a Relic
And do
Scouted Frostmaid and
discuss Agamemnon instead.
Agamemnon on the side. I do like the no blocks here. It's definitely makes a lot of sense. So good play here from Gloommate.
Gloommate's next hand is very scary.
Gloommate has an amazing next hand. Rage and Korok potentially going to push for a lot of damage.
Maybe kill three
Um,
creatures even. That's insane.
yeah,
And I believe Link sees his other addict here, so he might be in dire straits next time. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah. So there is a case for actually casting this other edict. Lucid Echoes an edict this turn. Killian is, or Link is known to like his Killians, so wouldn't be.
Link is. Oh, what happened there? Oh, Bion exploded. What was that? Okay. So apparently Bion exploded for a bit, so you won't get to hear his wonderful voice for now.
Yeah, so I'm back.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry about that, guys. Love to see the screen share once again from you, Ian.
Oh yes, of course.
Fridge attack. Good one,
Wait, I
Jura.
can't share my screen.
Good one.
Wait, Google. Go please. What to
Oh
restart the
no.
call? Goodness.
Yep. Yep.
Right. Hangout 0 is so loud, man. Dun, dun, dun. God damn it, Pion. Fix that. This way. Every single time. Oh well. What's up with him? Meantime, though, his rage is gonna be really scary. Although giving out the win wave here is actually a bit concerning. Ooh, there's a lot of pain. I think that might be the game actually. Considering how much damage. Like he's down to 36 against 3 creatures which he can't answer. All of them at once anyway. Of course he could gain a bit of life against Korok. It's not amazing though. Especially given the fact that AT has a lot of tricks, but Gloommate didn't actually quite draw his tricks. Which is unfortunate instead. Is Paran back yet?
Are we back? Maybe I can hear you. Yes, you can hear me.
Oi, Rose, did ya
Oh,
stop talking about pirate life and the goddamn Twitch chat, right?
okay, okay. Hey,
Yeah. Are
there's.
you there now? Are you alive?
I'm here now.
And I
Yes,
still
I'm
can't share
alive.
my screen.
We're back.
What is this?
Oh, well then, I'll just comment on what's happening on the stream then after you've made the comments.
Oh, that's really
Hold this
annoying.
tight.
Things now down to the teen against Winsbang bot. And
Yeah,
his hand
Windspark is.
is, if I'm not wrong, the tree folk's aggressive. Yeah, it is. I think that's actually going to be the game. The aggressive tree folk's going to win. Yep. Huh, that's interesting. The dendrified tree folk is aggressive.
Yeah, that's a treat for Link there. It's not well against Korok. You, I guess you can never dendrify because the dendrify token is always level 1. So even if your dendrify is level 3, the token is level 1, which means
And
that
then it
it will
gets
get
pissed off by
aggressive on Korok.
Korok. Right, so believe Link is moving on to his Brood Queen list.
Hey,
It's
Rose is saying updating the bubbles. That is something that could be done.
the bubbles?
Yeah, since well, Link won one game and then Gloommate won one game. So
Right. Million 1 minute passes.
yep.
Million.
And I'm just sitting here commenting like, well, someone who doesn't have a lot of responsibility.
I
The
should.
responsibility that I did have, however, uh, was well
Was?
winning my match, which was nice.
But you did.
Do you have Link's name in the deck name spot?
I do, don't I? Wait.
I think you do. It doesn't really matter. It Brute Queen fits nice in that small one.
It does nicely. I named it like Brood Queen Sentry, but that doesn't quite fit, does it?
Not quite.
Right, so if we made sending a challenge, so let's wait up.
Yes.
I think that last game was a
Well,
textbook example of
Link,
how AT wins against AU control.
yeah, it was very well played by Gloommate. Link had a good draw, but when Gloommate played well and also had a good draw, there was nothing
An
Link could
insane
do.
draw. That one turn was very, very, very.
Yep.
But though he did give a Windweaver 2 to play the Rage, but the Rage wasn't more so about the fact that the Rage clear Link's creatures, more so the fact that it put 3 very sizable creatures on the opponent's side of the board that Link can efficiently deal with. And then he just died to the Dendrified Tree Folk from with aggressive. Link going first with the Brood Queen's actually really big.
Yeah.
But though Gloomy has the perfect response to that. Ion, don't tell me you marked up again.
No, there was another. I think we were in maybe 2 calls.
Maybe someone hopped in.
Unfortunately, I'll be a little bit behind since
Yeah.
I'll be watching the stream rather than something else.
I'll try to slow down my commentary, I guess, to make up for this. But go hang on there.
Yeah. So Gloommate has a great play here of Korok and Brimstone Tyrant to just clear the board while having 2 creatures in play. And Link doesn't have an answer to this, so he's going to be hard pressed to do something in this game now.
Yep. That's the problem with Brood Queens actually, because it's a very powerful activate, but
Yeah, I think the play's got to be Siphon, Brood Queen and Siphon here. Brood Queen,
there's no
Siphon, and
choice.
Tendrils.
You don't dendrify for value here.
There is no value here. Dendrify doesn't get any value.
And the explosive here is going to be, yep, instantly slam the explosives on the Tyrant.
Yep. What do you think is the best threat other than that? I'd say it's between the Aeronaut and the Frostmane Dragon.
I guess the Frost
I
is
think it
better.
should be the Frostmane Dragon because
Catch a egg
it
and
moves and handles.
moves more.
Yeah, it handles
It's a
Brood Queen
better
better
explosive
with
target
the
anyway.
increase.
Hmm. So
Opting to not play the Behemoth there, feeling that like it's well. The reason you play Aetherphage is you think that Aetherphage is a better card in the matchup. And well, picking explosives and rage is going to be hugely important here. Can't pick both, but since you see explosives and rage, picking the explosives and
letting him keep the
having
rage.
the behemoth out of the way, out of the way from the rage, it's gonna be good.
Though if Gloommate has a Wind Weaver, then Link can play around it anyway. On a side note, Spirits, Gloommate doesn't actually have any good ways of dealing with Spirit Stone Sentry, which is quite interesting.
No, we just got no heralds,
No
which
Justicar.
I've seen in some decks, and no Justicar either. Yeah, kind of relies on being able to push an advantage in the center, as well as just being able to naturally deal with them, deal with sentries. It's going to be interesting to see what will happen there. Because I think,
Although,
well, a sentry in one is definitely going to happen here.
yep, it does. Does he move the Seer? Yep, he does move the Seer out of the way. What does he just block with? Of course, I do understand you're a bit behind, so.
Yeah, I do. Link's saving grace here, I think, is that he's on the play, which means that this
Brood Queen.
2.1 Brood Queen is going to be very big. Actually, he's going to get a lifeblood trigger here.
Yeah, it's gonna
Or
get like. Guess he just plays the Frostman, calls it a day. Seer levels. Right. And the Frostman hatches. There might be a justification for Mana Summon instead of Lifeblood Dryer. But in that case, I don't think you play the Brood Queen before that, so. Unless
yeah,
Link
definitely. So
wants to settle for a Brood Queen Lifeblood, which I don't think is quite good. It doesn't quite push
no,
the
I don't think
numbers
so.
enough.
I do like hiding the Brood Queen behind the Steel Iceer.
It's actually
Sorry,
pretty good.
here it's going to be very good. Yeah,
Oh yeah, this okay.
hiding the Brood Queen there.
Oh, and this makes guarantees the Spirit Stone res the silent. Okay,
Yeah,
fine. I didn't quite take note of that. So right, this makes a lot more sense now.
play from Link there.
Hmm.
It's going
This
to be
is
hard
this is why
for
you
well.
guys win tournaments, and I just sit here and just run my mouth. Oh yeah, Lifeblood Dread. I Link likes Lifeblood Dread and Breed Queen, I believe, because he says what did he say? Something about like when
Says
do you
that
never have your board full as Breed Queen
exactly. Even when Brood Queen is losing, it's basically still has cards
everywhere. Like it doesn't have
over the board.
dudes.
Yeah, and well, while Lifeblood Dryad 1 may not be good, Lifeblood 2 is
A
basically
proc,
uh
it's absurd. It's
yes,
really crushing.
definitely. It's 22 worth of stats.
21, 21, right?
It's
5,
it should
15.
be
It's 22, 22. Correct, correct.
7 plus 15, yeah, times 2. So it's yeah, 44 stats over the board, which
If you want
is
to call it like that way, sure.
that is kind of the biggest output that you can get from a creature um, there.
And
So
if you somehow get a Lifeblood 3, you already probably won the game anyway, but yeah.
yeah, I do remember the good old times when we were playing Progeny of Sith with
Yeah.
Boars and Lifeblood Dryads.
But
Uh,
then the Herald Nation attack and everything changed.
everything changed when the Herald changed. Yep,
Well, that
and
is, you're not wrong, of course. So, even all these level 2s here by Gloommate, they're very powerful level 2s in their own right, very resistant, very resilient, very powerful. But the problem with that is that he can't deal with the Brood Queen,
yeah,
right?
actually, well, a Korok 2 with an Aeronaut in the center, if you overwrite the Steel Seer, you level up the Korok. You could level up the Korok and Rage, actually. Maybe that is the best play,
But then he
side by
wouldn't have
Steel.
played any of his other level 2s, so it's just. So the Korok would be left on 7 health, and then actually, Link can take care of that. But that means not leveling his other good level 2s. I guess I can see both decisions. Both lines are fine.
I really do like Link's position from this point. He's basically stabilized, and having an active Brood Queen into another active Brood Queen is going to be very big here. Uh, question is whether he'd go for
This Spirit
killing
Stone
the
Sentry is a bit
Aeronaut.
stranded though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
I guess you
he
could
could either,
replace the Behemoth post combat.
yeah, and proc that one instead. So there is a case for playing Brood Queen in 4, procking in 3, battling, and then killing something with or playing a Spirit Stone in 5. No, wait, you battle first, then you play the Spirit Stone in 5, overriding the Behemoth, which then had killed the egg, and then you can kill something to get it very, very big Spirit Stone 2, rather
Oh,
than sacking the
oh,
Spirit
okay, I
Stone
think I know
1.
what he's trying to do. He's trying to get that Spirit Stone on the side lane, which unfortunately doesn't quite work. Fortunately. I guess he's just combat and then play the Brood Queen and then play the Sentry. I
And that was
think
another line.
you. Okay,
So
that's
it
fine.
got back into center, so very, very good proc there from Link.
I think
Maybe
Link actually wanted to go to the side, and I think he's happier replacing the Behemoth than getting
yeah,
the 5/5
definitely.
Spirit Stone on the side lane. So, very strong ball position from Link here.
Yeah. Question is whether the other play would have been stronger. I mean, this way, both his Brood Queens are full health, which may be the most important thing because they're hard to kill now. But
Especially
in
if.
the other way, a lot of cards would be killed. There would be the Frostmane egg. Well, three, one, two, three, four guys would have died, meaning that the Spirit Stone Center would have been a 14-14 in guaranteed side lane. So you had a 14-14 Spirit Stone Sentry in
Which
lane
is
5.
very hard to ignore and
That
still
is
very
really
sticky.
hard to deal with. Yeah. So there is another potentially very, very powerful play there, but it requires you to give up a health on both your Brood Queens, which may
Which I
not be
think is. I
the
think the
best thing
health
to
on
do.
Brooklyn is more worth it because the moment when Brood Queen is really good against the AT deck is when the AT deck can just say, "Oh, nice Brood Queen," just sidestep, rage, explosives, and just never let the
But
Brood Queen go off.
then again, knowing Gloomate's deck and producing a 14-14 Spirit Stone Sentry in the side lane while still having two active Brood Queens in play,
I
that is
suppose
surely very desirable.
that's true. That's true. So he Battlebrand's and trades off or something. I didn't quite see it. The Wind Weaver, I
No,
believe.
no, yeah.
Problem is with the current board state is that Link can just put the creature on board, just put a creature on board and then sack the Spirit Stone in 5.
Yeah.
I
Question though
imagine
is whether
he's
you sack the Spirit Stone in 1, since the Spirit Stone in 5 would grow considerably, and the Spirit Stone in 5 is dealing damage to his face, while the Spirit Stone in 1 isn't.
Though you want to kill
Uh,
that Force Medic, don't you?
yeah, but won't you do that anyway? Well, it'll be a 4/4 and it'll hit once. Yeah, that is true, or twice. It would actually hit twice before
Was
the
it?
end of the opponent's player level if you sacrificed it this turn.
Right.
So it'd still be on pace
But
for a kill.
making the Spirit Stone Sentry at 10/10 was pretty well. I think it's more
Oh yeah, it's
better.
10-10 rather
Two
than
things
a
die.
yeah.
It itself
So
dies and the Force Main dies. Imagine you actually replace the Brood Queen here instead of the Fang
instead of
because
the Brood Fang.
the Brute Fang in being in center means that if he plays Aeronaut there,
No, you replace the Brood Fang because you have a big Aether Phage, you have a big Spirit Stone.
so you have
So
more
the
things
fact,
you need to answer.
yeah,
This is
the fact that you'd force your opponent to block the Brood Queen, which may not be what your opponent
optimal.
wants to do, which would mean that they will be able to block in 2 and 5. So I do like this decision to override the Brood Fang. Basically, the threat of Brood Queen means that you have to block it, even though, well, if they wouldn't have that, you'd be able to block the Shadow, the Shard Plate, and the Aether Phage, for example.
And I think this is where Agamemnon is weakest, where it's just another 4-type creature, right? Like Agamemnon is best when it's on level, when it's just moving around with explosives, stabbing things to death. But this is probably its lowest point. Link is a lethal though. How Ziff is 25 plus. Wait, no. I just
Yeah,
took off my glasses. I'm sorry, Link. It's 75, not 25.
yeah.
I am being
Well,
silly.
despite him being there,
You just play a 3-3 or play a Howl here?
no, you play Distant Siphon and Howl, I think.
Yeah,
Or
but
a
you
3-3 you could.
still have one more play.
Yeah, I think
I,
you Howl. But well,
I
I
guess
think the
Howl is
damage to
better.
the face is more important.
I like a 3-3 one too much at all.
But I guess seeing what the opponent's hand here is, having an extra card die means that the Spirit Stone, uh,
Buff?
yeah, the Spirit Stone buffs slightly more. And
Very
also,
slightly
if
more.
they have blocks inside lanes, that is be a bit tougher to make the sentries respawn in the not slide lane, obviously. So I think actually that Gloommate is gonna have to go for the block in 5, and oh, that is no, that's just better. Block the Aetherphage because that kills it for sure, and the Spirit Stone
Twin.
gets too big. He doesn't overwrite there. Okay. Oh, that makes a lot of sense too. I figured you could overwrite that, but the shard play beam is just too big then.
I don't think
Hey,
there's a
hey,
way out,
hey.
is there? This
Does he have?
Tyrant's gonna do a
Okay.
lot of work, but that Spirit Stone Sentry one is. Oh, it's gonna go to 6. Not, okay. Because of the. But that's exactly dead
Yeah,
on board.
that is
And there's a Howl in
indeed
hand too,
exactly.
so.
Yeah,
Link
this
takes
game is
another game. Wow.
over. So it's 2-1 to
In favor of
Link
Link.
here.
On that one. Now Gloomy has to go down to his last deck, which I believe is the Harrow Bomb list. Right. Any comments on not Lily Vines? Gloomy's Harrow Bomb list.
On the hero board list.
Looks pretty
Well,
standard.
that's what I'm thinking
Minus.
too. Two metamorphosis and no Botanimate. I mean, does it really
It's usually
matter?
one or the either, right? One or either. You don't go
Yeah, maybe.
Botaminate, Dendrify, and Metamorphosis. That's a bit suicidal.
Yeah, so this is. I feel like a lot of the decks you've seen does have two metamorphosis or Botanimate, two of that effect. And I don't think it really matters which one you choose. Maybe, there is a reason that metamorphosis could be better, and that is that the opponent or the token you give your opponent is defender.
It's a defender, and
Also, it can be
it's
played.
easy to kill in Mana Summit, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not going to proc.
Hey,
Barely ever. And it could
Metamorphosis
actually,
is
there are plays where you could potentially metamorphosis your own guy.
but those
I have yet
are
to see
far
a
and few
Hellbound player
between.
do that though.
And I should
Those,
change the name of that.
that should be done. Okay, so seeing this This matchup is going to be very interesting. Link knows to not play the Spirit Stone sentries here, and he knows that the Aetherphage is going to be hugely important. Question
Interesting.
is,
He's not playing
yeah,
Aetherphage instead, and he opts for the Behemoth instead. Even though he
double behemoth.
does know that he's against a Harrow Bomb.
Yeah,
I find
but
interesting.
still, underleveled Aetherphage still takes care of Fido bombs mostly.
Yeah, you don't usually play Fire Bomb player one. I believe
So
you
this is a horrible hand here from Gloommate. So let's see if Link is able to take advantage of that.
plays a Dust Maul, kills the 3/7, and plays on a 10/10 on his own. I imagine he plays a 10/10. Or he could play Dust Maul again for
No,
full
he's
lane
not playing
coverage
Duskmar.
against Harrow. Because,
I mean, there's a case for that. I
but if he plays Harrow,
do
there's a
not
chance
think
that his opponent goes Harrow into Potemkinate, Metamorphosis or Dendrify, which would prevent the Dust Maul from Tendrils, if he even draws it, of course.
the Link that I know is not a fan of on-level Duskmars. You think that the more Duskmars you play in player level 1, the worse your deck is going to be relative to what it would be otherwise.
I
Duskmar
see.
is a great underdrop,
He's not wrong.
while, yeah, so having a Duskmar as an underdrop while leveling another card strengthens your deck relative to having Duskmar leveled. Maybe only uh, because of the fact that the other cards will be a worse underdrop than Duskmar.
I mean, the thing about Dustmar is that even on level, it's a very solid card, right? It's not bad. It's a 10/9 mobility 1,
Yeah.
17/15, which is very sizable. The problem is that usually in your own game plan, Dustmar is not part of the game plan, right?
Yeah.
It's just Dustmar. That's all it is.
So another quite bad hand from Link here. Needs to take care of the tree folk. And just playing a Duskmar here because the Lifeblood Riot isn't going to do anything. And, well, this is the Lifeblood Riot actually punishing Link.
So what else would I mean? I guess we had to talk to him, right? I mean, we chatted about Lifeblood Drive, and oh, maybe a tree of Lifeblood Drive might be a bit excessive, right?
Yep. And he
If he
went with
goes for
three
the
Lifebloods
Metamorphosis, yeah.
eventually. Yeah.
I guess he
His
has to take
Metamorphosis, yeah, I'd be surprised to see the Metamorphosis, but
he has to take
then
the
again, I would consider myself a strong Herald Bomb player. I despise the deck and I refuse to play it. Seriously. I
okay.
refuse to play it seriously, yeah.
He just played on the stream just now. Come on.
Yeah, but that was, you know,
All
that
right.
was not a serious game. I've never taken it into a constructed queue. I don't think so.
And the unfortunate thing about Brute Queen here is that you are forced to make the token.
Yeah. I could see Mal's Hermit here and Dizzy
Siphon.
Siphon. Oh, he can't play Mal's Hermit and Siphon.
Oh, because it just becomes Ghastly Touch.
Yep. So another abysmal hand, I'd say, from or not abysmal, but it's not a good hand. You can see here what it's going to be. Unfortunately, no ally trigger, but it's still the best, possibly the best play here. Link is in heaps of trouble here, especially since he's on the draw. And
Ugh, this hand from Link is pretty bad.
yeah, but then again, Noah Herald level 2 from Gloommate at least gives him some time.
To get his bearings at least.
Yeah.
Dendrify or Lifeblood, yeah? Yeah, these
I think
Lifebloods are not working out
either
for him.
phage and you'll see what's going on. Okay, you see a Dandrify. Pick the Dandrify.
I think the thing that Link didn't quite take into account when he put the 3 Lifebloods is that he forgot that against the Magic and Terror Bomb, you don't play your Spirit Stone Sentry. It's a very persistent card, right? Your opponent doesn't really want to kill a Spirit Stone Sentry with the sideline. And Brute Queen, which makes 2 critters. Like, those aren't good play against Herald because Herald just scorches them, right? So I think perhaps in deck building he forgot to account for when he fights Herald, the Lifeblood is also a dead card. A deadish card is still a 5/5.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
if against Herald you maybe don't want to play Brooklyn, if you can get the Brooklyn down before the Herald, then yes, you want to play it. But if you
Yeah.
you don't want to play Spiritual Sentry and your lifebloods are kind of dead without that, so
So Gloommate going with I didn't see what the other cards in his hand was. Didn't he have a Mouse Hermit 2 in his last hand?
I believe he didn't want to poison on stuff, which I can see.
Yeah, that is he pushed for a lot of damage with a Herald into Metamorphosis.
Well, 3 damages. Something. He plays the Mana Summit here to counter the Mana Summit. That's perhaps one of the reasons why Mana Summit is so prevalent. That one of the best plays to go into Mana Summit, an opposing Mana Summit is Mana Summit, because poisoning a
Yeah.
huge creature makes it a lot scarier because you can just
Wow,
chump, chump, chump,
not
chump, chump.
blocking there is surprising. Maybe he's gonna block it post combat with a shard plate or shard bound invoker, buffing the hermit.
Goes for the Aetherphage instead. Takes a Tendril, which, in the grand scheme of things, is quite trivial.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily trivial because well, Link could easily have a Duskmaw in hand too.
That is true. But in this case, it'll prove to be trivial. If Link had a Duskmon in his hand and the Aetherphage didn't come down, then that'd be disastrous for Gloommate, but that's not the case this time.
Yeah, but since that would be so bad for him, I think I like the Aetherphage play just to be safe. And since you can't base your play on whether your opponent had Duskmaw or not. I think playing around it is correct here. You are quite ahead
This
though,
size from
so
Gloommate is also quite underwhelming. It's not
yeah,
not
leveling.
terrible, but
This
it's
is
not.
where leveling the Metamorphoses may not turn out to be the best, but I'd be reluctant to do that. I guess killing a behemoth is still pretty good, but
Still something.
yeah, it still deals with a 15-15. I shouldn't say it's bad here. It's actually very
It's
good in
not
this
terrible.
position.
It's just you don't feel bad, but you don't feel good from playing it.
So Link's got his board cleared once again and doesn't have a hand to push an advantage. Now, I wish, like, as a spectator, that we'd have the possibility to watch this game, look at both players' hands and what they leveled to see.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? But that would be a spectate function, and I don't think that will ever come along. I mean, that might be a Unity thing, right? Guess you could. Maybe wishfully.
People are lucky.
Maybe a wishful thing. Maybe wishful thinking. If we can get
Yeah,
spectate function, that'd be awesome. Or
I
like,
heard that wishful thinking is a thing.
oh yeah. I still haven't decided the theme for the next article. Should probably think of it. I was thinking something between tribal and player abilities. I'm not sure which one resonate more people, because player abilities are kind of cool, right? Although I can see why you wouldn't want too many player ability cards. Hmm. Anyway, back to the game.
Yeah. So Link has double shard plate behemoth here. Metamorphosis 3, making its presence known. And Mal's Hermit will do some good work too. Actually,
Surprisingly, Gloommate hasn't drawn his arrows this game like much at all. Actually,
yeah, yeah. So Link is still at a quite healthy 60, but once the big heralds come down, but then again, Gloommate didn't get to play a level 2 herald, if I'm correct. Yeah, that's what Milambre says.
and that's what
And they got
happens
no herald
when
2.
the Herald deck just doddles, right? It's like
Yeah, sometimes the herald deck just wins, but I guess that sometimes the herald bomb deck just
doesn't draw heralds.
yeah,
It sounds
it does
silly,
have
but
decent backup strategy with the Malice Hermits and Uranti Warlords and Windspark Elementals to push for damage.
they're very good at stalling, but they're not very good at winning, right? Warlords, Malice is sometimes elks out a win on its own by virtue of
Dendrify 3 here for Link.
doesn't
So,
do a lot. It does something that doesn't do.
no, it doesn't
Whoa,
do much at all.
really? Spirit Stone Sentry? That's insane. He just dendrified the other the other what's it called?
If you
Arrow.
dendrify the Herald, I think you
Oh,
should probably dendrify the Herald. It's a bit too dangerous to play a sentry here,
dendrifies his
unless you
own
do that.
sentry. It's a very interesting line.
Ah, I do. I kind of like that play. Maybe I would. Yes, Sentry 2 actually isn't the worst against Herald. Then again, you take 3 damage from there.
And then he grows. Yeah, sure. That makes sense. It's an interesting
Warlord gets
question.
the kill here on Hermit.
Do
It's a
you
huge
think
value play.
do you think this 1217 is more dangerous than the 614?
He has Aetherphage, so he will
Oh yeah,
play
he can
Aetherphage
tell.
first to decide that, okay, he's got Dendrify and Phyto Bomb. He'll pick the Phyto Bomb and kill the Uranti Warlord.
And so he does. By the bomb he has only 18 damage, which usually you can do better as a Hero Bomb that when it comes to fighter bombs. And I don't think Link is too bothered if he dendrifies the Aetherphage, yes. But whatever. And Link gets 2 Sharp Blade Behemoths than 2 25/25s, which
Wow, that could be proved very big.
yeah.
Also, it
Although for Gloommate he does have a lot more, they both have a lot more Hermit's level, and Sharp Blade Behemoth shrinking very quickly to
a Shard Plate Behemoth isn't the best matchup.
doesn't match up
Well,
very well against Alice.
Warlords and
It does
Mouse
incremental
Hermit.
burn, right? And there's the Malice Summit from the opposing side, and the Herald Tree. So I imagine you want to play the Herald Tree and the Malice Summit because it shrinks the. Ooh, Dustmole Tendrils is a huge draw from Link here.
Yeah.
It deals with any of the very dangerous threats, like especially Herald Tree. Herald Tree is it's ridiculously powerful.
But how? I don't think that Gloommate can play Herald 3 in this position. He needs to play a Hermit in one
He
lane.
he
I
can
think
just
Hermit.
play Malice Hermit in 2 and then put the Herald in 3. Though that opens it up to
Uh,
getting killed by
I think
Malice.
you play Malice Hermit in 1, and then you play Warlord in 3. Possibly you battle first, and then you play Malice Hermit in 3, and
Say he blocks
Warlord
with
in another
the
turn.
Malice Hermit. So he wants to develop the Harrow instead of Malice Hermit. Which I can see because if you can get the Fighter Bomb combo, you just instantly kill Link.
Yeah.
But now you have 2 behemoths that's staring at you. Granted, those behemoths are shrinking very quickly and even quicker after the second Hermit.
Yeah.
Oh, the
See
Dust Smoke
that.
combo must be so crushing for
Yeah,
Gloomy, yeah.
definitely.
Fortunately for him, he gets the Herald Metamorphosis combo, and the two
Against
behemoths at the
Hermit, yeah.
side are tiny by now, so
They are definitely tiny. Link speeds them up, but I don't think he can not play the Hermit here.
that is
But
the
this
good.
is a position where Hermit is actually a bad level 3 from Link. He'd rather have something else there.
To be fair, it clears. Oh, it doesn't clear anything. Never mind.
Doesn't clear anything that other than his behemoths much faster.
Also, the Wind Spark. What do you do? Oh, did you opt
I
to go
am
for the
very
Metamorphosis there? Oh, because the poison. Ah, there's a lot of damage from the Wind Spark then.
Oh, that's true. That is very much true.
I didn't.
Interesting play there from
I didn't take that
Gloommate,
into
and
account.
very smart.
Taking 24 from that.
Yeah, Link is down to not much life at all. I think he's
Is it
forced
enough?
to siphon. Yeah,
Oh, he's gone. Oh, that siphon saves him. From now, Sharkbound Fighter Bomb is one off killing Link. Oh, that's so
oh
crushing.
yeah. This is a huge turn here because well, he can't deal with both the Duskmaw and the Behemoth, and I think Link's got this game now. That was a very interesting play. and
Oh,
aggressive play from Gloommate, which would have rendered
could have
him
paid off.
victorious in this game. Yeah, that siphon
He is
became
1
huge
point
there.
off killing Link right now. But
Yeah,
Link,
it's so close.
oh, it's ridiculous.
Very, very interesting game.
It's a game of inches right now. Or it was a game of inches.
Yeah, I don't see a line here that does anything. Um, well, there is. I think what he has to play here is Fido Bomb and then another Fido Bomb post combat. That is the only way he survives to the next
Alright,
turn.
yeah, technically survives.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Then it
does
will.
survive. Oh,
He does actually survive at 1 life because the
because
hermit.
the max he can push through is the.
Yeah, yeah. So since he survives at 1 life, there is a potential.
He,
There is a potential
and he's gonna rank,
for
so he
Link to
might
win
get
still,
the wind
but
spot kill
he
with
needs to play the double Fido Bomb here. If he opts for another play, he doesn't have a chance.
combat and then fight the bomb. Tokens!
Yep. There you go. So we're playing the Fido Bomb stall game here.
And 2 Herald trees on the opposing side.
Ooh, there's a. You see it?
Let's see what.
There's a Herald and a Fido Bomb from Gloommate's side here,
Oh,
which means that he's gonna win this game, right?
but Link can fill up all.
Oh yeah, he's got the Aetherphage. He's got the Aetherphage.
Oh, that. Oh, yes, that too. I imagine he plays the Aetherphage. The Brute Queen's too
Yeah,
worth.
definitely playing the Aetherphage. Hitting down Gloommate to 1 and playing Aetherphage, picking the Fido Bombs. Aetherphage is huge here.
And seals the game, I guess. Although to be fair, even if he couldn't pull
Yeah,
the
that is true. He couldn't battle first and then
because he'll die.
could
Straight
he?
up.
No, he couldn't.
He
Yeah,
could.
that is true. That is true. Was a bit premature call there from me. Gloomy didn't actually have the kill here because even if Link didn't have the Aetherphage, there was no way of Gloomy
Squeezing
to
through
survive
the
post
fight bomb.
combat.
And Gloomy, no, sorry, Link takes the series.
He does take the series, which means that Battlebranded takes the series, right?
Winning 2 out of 3 games. Battlebranded wins the team battle. Which means I don't get to play. But
What you mean you don't get to play?
of course I
Are
don't
you
get
not